The personal responsibility maximalism is really just about knowing that you're in control of what your life is going to look like, and you need to take responsibility for that and make sure you're getting what you want out of it. If you aren't paying for the product, you are the product. All the Google services, they're free because you are the product. You are being sold to the advertisers. People love free stuff. People don't really care that much about their privacy for the most part, and so Google was able to make billions and billions of dollars. I think a lot of people don't think about the footprint they leave in the digital world. Privacy is a bit of a one-way door. Once you've given it all away, it's very hard to get it back. The internet is an infinite copy machine in a real way. Governments think that their job is to control things and make things safe and sanitized and work well. And so the tendency is always to add more control rather than think about ways that we could change incentives to make stuff work a little bit better. I like to call this the fundamental human conceit, that we think we have control over everything around us, and we just don't. It's absolutely not possible.
Good afternoon. Hello, Plan B Lugano. And hello, my beautiful audience on my live channel on Rumble. Thank you, Rumble, for streaming this. Thank you, Plan B, for doing this. We're here in Lugano, and I have a special guest today, a friend of mine, Jeff G. Hey, Jeff.
Hello, how are you?
I am so good. Thanks for joining me.
Very warm up here, aren't we?
We are. You just don't understand, guys. I just have to tell you, this is so hot up here right now because we're in this greenhouse and the sun is really strong. And I love sun, but this is intense.
We also like saunas. Saunas are good for you, so it's kind of the same.
Saunas are good for you. But if we get too hot, we may start taking our shoes off and things like that.
The live stream might get a little more interesting.
Apologies in advance. All right, so Jeff, for those of you who don't know, Jeff is a privacy advocate and builder of open systems, encryption tools, and self-sovereign infrastructure that helps individuals escape digital surveillance and reclaim autonomy, which is exactly what I love and my audience loves. He's also a builder of a company called White Noise. It's a project called White Noise, Unstoppable Secure Messaging on Nostr. And for those of you who don't know what Nostr is, just in one sentence, Nostr stands for nodes and other
stuff transmitted by relays.
It's
the worst acronym
transmitted
ever.
on relays. It's really funny.
Yeah.
But Nostr is essentially a platform actually it's a protocol on which you can send and receive stuff without being censored, and it's completely decentralized, and it's integrated with Bitcoin, so you can make microtransactions over it as well and zap people directly peer-to-peer without being stopped, which is super cool. And so Jeff is a developer over the Nostr protocol, and you describe yourself as a personal responsibility maximalist, building freedom tech. What does that mean for those that don't know? I mean, practical terms. How does those things work, freedom tech?
Sure. So I guess the personal responsibility maximalism thing is really just about knowing that you're in control of what your life is going to look like, and you need to take responsibility for that and make sure you're getting what you want out of it. And not expect free handouts from other people or from institutions around you to make that happen. And it's funny, I think I actually got this from my mom. She sat me down when I was pretty young, and she was like, there's that Social Security thing in America that you have to pay taxes into, but you should expect that it will not be there because they will be bankrupt by the time you get there. So yeah, I mean, I think that is maybe some of the backdrop that led into me getting more interested in a lot of these spaces. I've been interested in Bitcoin for a while, worked in startups for a while, so I've seen the sort of platform side of this and how, centralized services work, and kind of seen behind the curtain there of like what the incentive model there does to businesses, but also how you treat users and customers, and, what's the difference between a customer and a user, and, where that data goes.
What is the difference between a customer and a user?
Well, a good way to think about it is if you aren't paying for the product, you are the product. And so that's just, across the board. All the Google services, they're free because you are the product. You are being sold to the advertisers. And so
if
I
I'm
think
paying premium on X, I'm not the product? They still harvest my
data.
data.
You are less the product because they're still showing you ads. They're still trying to do those things. I think there's like a way you can pay enough that they'll be like, okay, now you're just a customer. But that wasn't the model, and it isn't the model for most of the internet. And you can see why this happened, right? Like the internet at the beginning didn't have a native money. If you go back, the HTTP, spec, the original internet spec, has a error code for payment required. So you see 404, page not found.
Yes.
402 is payment required. So there was that idea at the very beginning that like, hey, you're gonna have to pay for, access to things. But no one ever implemented it because we didn't have digital money.
When was that? When it started?
Way back at the beginning. Like literally from the very beginning of the spec that became the internet.
No one knew how to implement that efficiently?
We just didn't have a digital money that didn't have banks in the middle and credit card transaction fees and things like that. And so you weren't going to pay, $1.50 for a website view. You wanted to pay like a fraction of a cent. And you can't do a fraction of a cent over a credit card. It became very quickly a thing where, okay, we can centralize all this data, we can pay for everything, but our monetization model is going to be advertising, which turned out to be a really good monetization model. People love free stuff. People don't really care that much about their privacy for the most part. And so, Google was able to make billions and billions and billions of dollars.
Yeah. If you need to move a little bit to...
Oh, I might.
Yeah, to not be in the sun, then do that. I see you squinting. There. Yeah, there we go.
I have to go farther away, but...
Yeah, I think now it's
the angle is good.
Okay. Do you think privacy is misunderstood these days, even amongst Bitcoiners? That notion of, I've got nothing to hide, so why do I need privacy?
Yeah, well, the notion of nothing to hide is, I think easily debunked. Like, we all have curtains on our windows. We all live in houses with doors. You whisper when you talk to somebody you don't want people around you to hear. Like, those are all privacy measures. In the real physical world, we have been doing this for, hundreds of thousands of years as humans. It's a normal, natural thing that you want some people to know things and you don't want other people to know those things. I think in the digital world, because of this sort of platform model where everybody was encouraged to share things and you were incentivized with likes and follows and things like that to be more and more open, people just sort of forgot that. And I think the distance between, somebody on the other side of the screen somewhere versus someone right in the same space with you made that even, clearer or easier to let go of. So yeah, I think a lot of people overshare. I think a lot of people don't think about the footprint they leave, in the digital world. And I think that's like
what kind of stupid things we do without understanding that it's not right for us to do it?
Yeah, exactly. Like you also just have no idea where your data is going. And so like it's hard to actually understand like, what is this action I'm taking gonna have? Like what are the consequences of the action? So without the connection there, a lot of people just miss it completely.
We gotta be more careful online?
Yeah, but it's like one of those things, like privacy is a bit of a one-way door. Once you've given it all away, it's very hard to get it back. The internet is a infinite copy machine in a real way. It's like why NFTs make no sense. It's just a copy machine. It'll just keep copying the data everywhere forever. So once you're everywhere on the internet, you're everywhere on the internet. It's very hard to scrub that.
But we don't want to despair people. We want to give some hope.
We do. And yeah.
So what do we do?
So, I think some really easy things you can do are just, one, take a second to think, do I want to have my name attached to all these things? There are plenty of ways that you can be anonymous on the internet. And a lot of governments are trying to crack down on that. They're trying to implement KYC for the internet, which I think is a horrible, horrible direction for a lot of reasons. But there are platforms like Nostr, there are other platforms out there where you are allowed to use pseudonymous identities and anonymous identities to share and discuss things in the open and form opinions about things that maybe you don't want to say with your name attached to it. There's plenty of things that we need to talk about that are hard topics that maybe you don't necessarily need your name and identity attached to, but you still want to be able to discuss.
You're the Voice is brought to you by Trezor, the original Bitcoin hardware wallet company pioneering the development of self-custody for crypto assets since 2013, empowering individuals with an open-source device, enabling beginners and experts to easily and securely hold their coins. I find my Trezor super easy to use and recommend it to my friends and family. Enjoy my 5% discount on Trezor products by clicking the link in the show notes and using the code AFLAT. Self-custody is powerful, but what if someone forces you to unlock your wallet? Bitcoin settles instantly, and that freedom can also be a risk. BitVault is the first Bitcoin wallet built to protect against both physical attacks and digital hacks. It creates a banking-grade vault on-chain with 2 of 3 multi-sig, time-delayed transactions, 2 hours to 15 days, giving you space to react, trustless recovery after 1 year, works with trusted hardware wallets, open source, and built with one focus, beyond keys, protecting humans. Only 42 lifetime subscriptions are available at $199 forever. Head over to bitvault.sv to sign up and use code EFRAT for 10% off. I want to introduce you to Abundant Minds because they take a very different approach to Bitcoin mining. Most people buy Bitcoin, but the smart ones mine it straight into self-custody. With Abundant Minds, you can do it without giving up your privacy. Abundant Minds was founded by Bo and Christine Marie Turner, a couple who lost more than $500,000 to providers making empty promises. Instead of walking away, they built a company that raises the industry standard and puts client first, and that's why I like them. With Abundant Minds, you own your machines. They never touch your Bitcoin, never skim a revenue share, and you choose your own mining pool. Their customer care is unusual. Clients speak to a real person for self-custody education, privacy consulting, and even visiting their site. They serve clients from around the world, but US investors specifically enjoy a big tax benefit and 100% bonus depreciation. This is more than just mining Bitcoin. It's about freedom, privacy, and purpose. You can book a free strategy call, see how it works, and mine some of your first Bitcoin for free with a special offer for my audience. Learn more on abundantminds.com/efrat.
So speaking of identity, is that why we're seeing the push towards digital ID in various countries? Is this why CBDC is being talked about more and more in different countries?
Yeah, I mean, I think all of those things stem from the same problem, which is, governments think that their job is to control things and make things safe and sanitized and work well. And so the tendency is always to add more control rather than think about like ways that we could change incentives to make stuff work a little bit better. So if you think of it as like, I have to do something to stop a problem, their idea is like, I must do something. I must put something in place that fixes the thing.
Yeah.
And so they are generally always will trend towards more control and trying to grab things. I like to call this like the fundamental human conceit, that we think we have control over everything around us.
Yeah.
And we just don't. Like, it's absolutely not possible. And so, but you put a bunch of bureaucrats in a room and that's like what they're going to do.
And then what are you working on in order to put in place or change some of that incentive structure?
Yeah. So I guess like one little note on Nostr, like the thing that got me so excited about Nostr when I first saw it was that, it looks like it's a social media protocol for just like making a Twitter competitor. But if you look at how the data is structured, there's 2 really important pieces. One is that the identity is a public-private key pair. So just like a Bitcoin address, you hold the private key and you put the public key out there in the world. And anybody that knows that public key knows that that belongs to you. And everything that you put out there is signed by your private key. So it's sort of a guarantee that like, hey, at least the person that had control of my private key was the person that put this out there. And so that piece of identity kind of verification is really important so that you can then go, okay, this person, it might be a pseudonym, it might be an anonymous thing, but we at least know that that reputation is building around that identity, whatever it is. The other piece that's really important about Nostr is that the servers, the thing in the middle, is commodity. It's really dumb. Like the whole idea is that the app itself should have all the intelligence and the server should just take data in, store it, and return the data. And if the server ever decides to stop your messages, try to censor you, you just move to another one. And it doesn't matter. Like they have no control over your identity, and so they have no control over your data then.
So the whole client-server model that we're used to in today's internet is something that is being changed, like the paradigm is shifting when it comes to Nostr?
It basically flips it on its head.
Okay.
It just says, okay, instead of having really smart servers, which we needed in the past because clients were really dumb, right? Like your phone in the beginning wasn't powerful enough to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
We now have supercomputers in our pockets.
So why
we don't
store
need
it?
super smart servers. for most things. Some things are still very
Yeah.
difficult, but for most things. And so when you look at Nostr, or at least when I looked at it, I saw a way to rebuild the entire internet. You know, if you start to go back and you say, well, just everything's content, and if you sign all the content cryptographically, and you can provably tag it to a certain identity, and those identities are now portable, then every website, instead of having an individual login to an individual captured database, you just have a global, you know, pile of data that's out there that is totally portable and is tagged to an identity.
So now this is super important. I want to stay on this point a little bit because I want my audience to understand how you can have a digital ID without being afraid that the state will use it against you. How can you actually own your own identity digitally, and why is this important? So I want to get you to explain it even more granularly.
Yeah, so the most important piece is that there's nothing that is linking a Nostr identity, a Nostr key pair, to your, you know, actual human self in the real world.
Yeah,
you know?
like address or
there's
like
no
that.
KYC,
There's no KYC.
there's no like, you know, connect this to your phone number or your address or no, it's you can literally put yourself in a bathroom, roll some dice, come up with a random number, and that is a Nostr key pair.
Yeah.
Like, that is, you know, same as with Bitcoin, you can just make it up out of nothing.
Yeah, and make up a username, and that's it.
Yeah.
But you know that that's your identity.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that can be durable over time.
Yes.
And because you build the reputation around an identity like that, with the connections you make, with the content you post, that reputation sticks to that identity. But again, it's not connected to you in the physical world.
That's beautiful. And then it is transferable as well, like you said. So if for some reason the relay I'm going through is closed down, or the app that I'm using, like Primal or Damus or any of the other ones, which I do not wish them to close down at all, I can just take my social identity and put it in another app, and off we go. So if I had 2,000 or 5,000 or 1 million followers,
they all go with you.
they all come with me. So,
Yes.
you know, recently I've been banned from Telegram with 8,000 people in my 2 channels. They closed my account. There's nothing I can do to restore that. That 8,000 people I lost,
They're
basically.
gone. Yep.
And with Nostr?
It's literally copy, paste, and you're done. Like, that's it. Everything is already there. It's all on the relays already. You just point to the relays where your data sits, and your identity comes with you. All your followers, all of your social graph, everything.
Now, do you guys get that power? That is insane because, you know, yeah, it's only 8K, but for me, that would have saved a lot of time. So guess what happens now? I don't invest in Telegram anymore. I took all my energy and time that I put into Telegram and I put it into Nostr because that is the future.
Yeah. Now,
Go.
the fundamental thing that's a bit difficult about a system like Nostr is that these relays are sort of public infrastructure, if you want to think about it. So doing things privately over public infrastructure gets much harder. You know, when you do DMs on Twitter, say, okay, it's technically private, other than the, you know, Twitter staff that can read through all your DMs, but at least it's not totally open to the, you know, full public universe. With something like Nostr, it's public infrastructure, so you have to be way more creative about how you're going to keep that data private and secure over, you know, a longer time.
Like, for example, hosting it on your own node?
You can
like
run
on
your own relay. So you
relay?
could run your own relay and store all of your data on your own relay. You still need to let other people access that, though, if you want them to be able to read your content. So this becomes more of a question of cryptography. How do we use math to actually make it unreadable to anybody other than the people that you really want to have access to it? And that's basically what I've been working on for the last year and a half.
And are there more smart people like you working on those kind of projects now? I really want to know that this is like happening.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of smart people pursuing a lot of different angles on this, and a lot of different like ways of trying to tackle that problem or solve that problem. And I think that's the right way, right? Like, let 1,000 flowers bloom and see which one actually works well, and see which one gets adopted and used most. You know, like a good example here is Signal. Like, Signal started out as just a completely open protocol created by these 2 guys, you know, cypherpunk kind of weirdos. They ended up licensing it to a bunch of, you know, the major tech companies. Then they ended up building Signal and the Signal Foundation around it. But fundamentally, it was just 2 people that came up with this thing of like, hey, if we did the key rotations this way and we put the math together this way, then actually this is a pretty stable system.
So if my audience has any developers or tech builders that want to be part of the revolution of freedom tech and privacy tech and you want to help build on Nostr, then contact you
Yes,
or
please.
contact
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Contact Jeff on X or on Nostr.
On Nostr, yeah. But we're a totally open source project. Everything is out in the open on GitHub. You can see exactly what we're working on, and we've got lots of different, lots of different projects that are approaching this problem. So.
And what about white noise? What is it, and what problem are you solving?
Sure. So exactly in this same vein, white noise basically attempts to fix what I think is like Signal's Achilles heel. So Signal, in my opinion,
Signal's what?
Achilles heel.
Okay.
So like Signal's a good actor in my opinion. I think they are the best of all the messengers out there. I do think that they are, like very secure. I think they go to extreme lengths to make sure that the data that goes to their servers is blinded. They can't read it. They can't give it away to anybody else that comes asking for it. However, Signal is still a company with a CEO and a $50 million a year server budget. And a couple of weeks ago, actually, we saw AWS went down and then Signal didn't work for a few hours. And so that's a real risk. Like if we lost Signal for whatever reason, we all of a sudden don't have secure communications. And so what we're trying to do with white noise is to use that public Nostr infrastructure with novel cryptography to make it so that we can do Signal-like communications, but without having to rely on any specific server. We talk to Nostr relays, but if one goes down or one stops serving your content, you just move your group to another one. No big deal. And again, your Signal identity is your phone number. So we don't have that same problem. You can have multiple accounts on the same device. You can run a single account for a single chat if you want, and then throw it away at the end and create a new account for the next chat. You can run 5 different accounts at the same time on the same app. So that's like a really big step up for a lot of use cases where, think about activists in countries that are fighting for democracy. Like they have to be really, really careful about what they use and how they use it. And being able to have multiple identities is a really, really big plus for them.
So decentralized encrypted communications.
Yes.
Love it. All right, I want to ask you a set of short questions. One book that significantly shifted your worldview and why?
Okay, so this is kind of an old one. It's a book called Ishmael, and it's
called what?
Ishmael.
Ishmael.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it was a book. It's kind of like the conservation movement before they went into net zero nonsense. It's fundamentally basically about a guy talking to a gorilla about philosophy and about the influence of culture and like how culture is just a story that we've built up in our heads, but isn't real in any real way. So it's a very profound book that I think kind of shifts your mindset about like, oh wait, this whole thing that's around us is just a made-up construct.
Beautiful. I love it. Ishmael. You know that Ishmael is the son of Abraham?
Yes, that's why it's named that.
Yeah, okay. A daily habit you have today, which you recommend others to do or look into?
Meditation.
You do it every day?
It's kind of a trite one, but yeah, and I go in and out. Like right now I'm in a good string of doing it every day for a good while, but then I fall off the horse and I'll come back to it a couple of years later, but it's been a very, very positive influence.
What's a length best practice?
Do whatever you can do, basically.
Okay.
I think you very naturally start to feel comfortable going for much longer, but for me it's like 20, 30 minutes is kind of minimum and up to an hour.
Do you do it in a certain time of the day?
Usually when I first wake up. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. What's one thing you believed 5 years ago that you no longer do?
That we can fix the system that we have. Yeah.
You thought we can fix it from within?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I know. I think I just got to the point where it was like, one, it's a very big system that has a lot of built-in incentives that will keep it exactly doing what it is doing. And then two, I just think there's a lot of people that aren't ready or willing to accept that personal responsibility. And so I think I just got to the point where I shifted my mindset and said, look, I want to build things for people that want to take control and be able to be free themselves. And I don't have to worry about trying to fix everything for everybody. And it was quite freeing to be able to just set all the rest of it down and go, okay, I stay in my lane, do my thing, make it for the people that that are going to appreciate it and going to use it, and make it as good as possible in that for those people.
You build it and they will come.
Well, maybe.
Maybe they will come. Well, they will come,
Maybe.
course. And by the way, I agree with you. fully, because I was also trying to fix the system from within, or at least yell at it, and it's a total waste of energy.
It's a tiring exercise.
Tiring.
Yeah.
It's exhausting, and I know many of the people that watch my show are in that category, and I bless them because it is so important, but I don't know how effective it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm with you 100%. Like, we've got friends that work in like the policy space and stuff like that, and God bless them.
Yeah,
It's
bless
amazing
them.
that they're there, but
Yes.
that's not going to be me.
Got it. A piece of advice you'd give your younger self.
This is a hard one because you look back and you go, well, I could have said things, but then I probably wouldn't be here now and doing the right things. And so
No, that's
I don't know.
good insight.
I think you just kind of are like, keep going. I don't know. It's just,
Yeah.
like, chin up. You're going to be fine.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Fill in the blank. True sovereignty is?
I think it's being able to spend your time on the things you want to spend it on. And I don't mean that in a, like, I'm an island unto myself and I can go hide in my citadel. I think it's much more spending it with the people you want to spend it with, doing the things you want to do, and having, I guess, the privilege to be able to do that in a sustainable way.
Wonderful. And just to wrap up, I'll tell everyone that the person that introduced me about two years ago to Nostr was Jeff. When I met you in Amsterdam for the first time, you're like, do you know Nostr? And I'm like, no. And you helped me download and showed me, and I was like, wow, that exists? That's really cool. So my invitation is, you don't even know what kind of cool stuff are around the corner. Just leap in, just jump in and check it out and see how fun those things are. It does create the situation where the responsibility lands back with you. And you do have to be more responsible, but you are also more sovereign, which is what we love in life,
Way
right?
more free.
Yeah, way more free. So thank you for introducing me to that. Thanks for what you're doing, Jeff. Any last words?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Go and get on Nostr, create a key pair, create an identity, connect a Lightning wallet if you can, and then you can start getting Bitcoin for just shit posting on the internet. It's great.
Awesome. And if you want to collaborate, reach out.
Yes.
Thank you so
definitely.
much, and good luck with White Noise.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for being with us. Please take a minute to give this episode a like, a comment, and subscribe or follow. And please share it with your friends so they can also get value and choose to take some positive action in their lives. Till next time.